This episode brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can get a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Motherhood. 1 minute, you're mom of the year.
I love you, Mommy.
Then the next, not so much. From bath time to bullying, from potty training to puberty, parenting is full of challenges. But one thing is for certain, you are not alone. Welcome to Modern Mom Probs. I'm your host, author, mother, parenting expert, Tara Clark. Join me while we tackle today's modern mom problems. Welcome back to another episode of Modern Mom Probs. I'm your girl, Tara, and here on Modern Mom Problems, we're trying to solve the world's modern mom problems. And if we can't do that, hey, at least we're having fun talking about them. Today's topic is supporting others, which is a big modern mom problem because many of us lack the village that people had in previous generations. So we're going to be talking about that, and we're going to be talking about support language. I am joined by Jordan Arogeti. She is the founder of supportnow.org. She recently had a TEDx talk all about support languages. This is also too, I'm just adding all these things, but she is a podcast host, the podcast host of a show called Moms Like Me. And Jordan is a mom like me. I was also on her podcast. You should definitely check out that episode because we deep dive into a lot of things, including modern mom problems. So shout out to that episode. Jordan, we're going to talk about so many things. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Great to see you again.
It's great to see you again. You've been very busy since the last time we've spoken.
Yes. And as we talked about before, if you want to get something done, give it to the busy person. So the busier I am, I would say the more effective I am. And honestly, the happier I am. I'm one of those people, at least in this phase of my life, where I enjoy the busyness. And at some point, I'm sure that will stop. But for now, I enjoy it.
No, I agree. I'm the same way too. There was a time where I was the PTA president and I was running my business and I was doing other stuff and I was doing Cub Scouts. And that is often the case. And if you still gave me a task to do, I would complete it because, to your point, give the task to the busy person.
Yeah, it's so interesting how your mind, when you're in that function of like go, 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 you just learn how to reorient it and how to prioritize differently. And it's funny, like even on days where I'm slower, I may have, 1 or 2 meetings in a day versus, 6 or 7. And on the slower days, I have the hardest time getting the things done that I need to get done. And they're small. It's like a follow-up email. I'm like, I can't write this email. It's like, yes. But if I had a ton of meetings, I'd bang out 100 emails. It's wild. But yeah, all good things. And it's the life I choose. And so I feel grateful for the opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. You're so right, though, about the slower days. I was about to say lazier, but I don't think that's a fair word, so I'm not going to use that word. The slower days. That happened to me the other day. Like an email came through. I was like, I don't want to answer that email. I'm like, Tara, it's all email. You don't have anything else going on right now. You're literally sitting outside drinking a cup of lemonade. I think you could answer that email.
It is so funny, like how we tell ourselves certain stories of like, oh my gosh, this is such a big email I need to respond to. No, it's just an email.
No, it's not. It's really not. You're right, though. Speaking of stories that we tell ourselves, you recently, speaking of stories, and it was a beautiful story, you recently did a TEDx talk, which is wild. How did that even come about?
Oh gosh, great segue, by the way. So it's funny. I lead this amazing company called Support Now, and we're a startup. And we had the opportunity last October to pitch at a venture conference to get exposure for our company. And it was a really intense process. Think like Shark Tank, but live in front of 1,000 people, where you have 3 minutes to pitch. And if you go a second over, they cut your mic. So we were one of 10 companies selected to pitch on stage at this venture conference. And I had prepared for weeks to deliver, our message, to make sure people understood what we were doing. And I really did it for exposure. I wasn't really doing it for funding. I was doing it because I wanted to elevate the brand, and I wanted to bring awareness that we at Support Now are kind of like this thing and this thing for the future. And unbeknownst to me, there was a TED curator in the audience.
Oh.
And so I finished the conference. The pitch went great. We didn't win, but I was super proud of myself. I'm like, I did it. I went on stage. I did the things that made me uncomfortable. It was a true career achievement for me. And a few days later, I get a call, and it was this curator. And I actually thought my friends were playing a joke on me. I thought
they were pranking you. It was like back in the day where there was the show Pranked.
No, I legitimately, I hung up on her. And so then she called me back, and she was like, this is not a joke. I could tell she was kind of surprised at that. And my first instinct was to say no. So she had
Why?
heard.
What made you say no?
That's probably it's a very layered question. I wanted to say no because it sounded hard.
Yeah.
And I'm a mom. I've got 3 children. I've got a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 2-year-old. At the time, they were even younger. And I'm trying to run this company. I'm trying to create a meaningful business. And I already feel at capacity. And adding the pressure of a TED just sounded like too much. And I think for a lot of people, this opportunity is something you seek. I didn't seek this. This was not on my 2025 bingo card.
Yeah.
Right. And so for a lot of people, they know the talk of their life. They know if they were given the opportunity. And a lot of people apply for these things. And so in some way, again, it was so flattering, so flattering to be called out of the blue after someone heard me talk, to be like, you can do this.
Because that's so complimentary.
It was so complimentary. And again, at the same time, I'm getting this call and I'm like, yeah, of course I should do this. I was meant for this. So it's this dual battle in my head where I'm one end, I'm feeling at capacity. I'm feeling already overwhelmed with the things that are on my plate. And other side of my brain, I'm like, yeah, but these are the type of opportunities that I actually think I was born to do. And to anyone that knows me knows that I don't just love my husband. I respect him. He is my co-founder. He is my co-pilot in life. And I told him I didn't want to do it. And he was the one that was like, I'm not letting you say no to this.
I love that. I love that for you. I love that for him. That's how you know that you're a good pair.
Yeah. I mean, he basically said his whole positioning was, you will regret it. This was something that if you don't do it, you could look back and regret. And I just won't let you do that. And so I said, yes.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. What was the prep for that like?
Oh, brutal. I mean, it's a gauntlet. So first of all, again, I had no idea.
Yeah, you didn't sign up for that. You weren't actively seeking it out.
If you look up TEDs, it's you're giving the talk of your life. It's all about ideas. I'm like, freaking frack. What am I going to say? That's that is unique.
And then also positions you well and positions Support Now well.
And something I want to put my name to for the rest of my life, because the internet doesn't go away. The internet, the cookies and the footprint that your digital footprint never goes away.
Don't remind me. No, I was kidding.
Right, so I'm legitimately, exactly. You totally know there. And so part of it is and I'm such a deep person, I'm literally thinking okay, when I die one day in my obituary, this could be one of the things that's listed. And so I'm really analyzing, what the hell am I going to talk about? And so I'm a huge sports fan, and I've always joked, if I ever had to give a big talk, I would give it on the history of UNC basketball. That's one of my personal things. But But as I thought about it, and again, I tried getting out of it a couple of times. Like I truly was like, I don't have an idea. I'm sorry. I actually brought an idea and they said no. So my first idea they rejected. They said that it was like basically covered. Like too many people have talked about it.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, great, I'm done. I'm out of this. I don't have to do this.
Cross that off the list.
And then it dawned on me. And then when I had this idea of support languages, it became very clear, like this is actually the talk of my life. Through the work I get to do at Support Now, I have often heard the value of people showing up for the people they love during difficult times. That goes beyond money and meals. And I thought, I had kind of coined this phrase along the way that everyone has a different support language. And what makes Support Now so unique is that we are kind of this like very inclusive platform because we allow people to show up in their unique support languages. So when I threw out the term support languages, the curator was like, yes, like
that's it.
That. And then from October to January, it was just writing, editing, pitching to like a committee of people, making sure we're on the right track. And then from January to February was they cut you off. There's no more edits. Like you've put in your final draft and you spend the entire month just memorizing.
Wow.
And then on February 28th, you step on stage and it's go time. I mean, it was a gauntlet. Again, similar to this venture conference, I look back and I am so proud that I did it. It's like a life achievement thing.
Yes.
My kids were so immersed in it. Like my older two, they truly they ask all the time, like, are you giving a TED Talk today? Like they know, and they could
so
repeat.
Cute.
I would practice my speech so much, my talk so much that they could fill in the blanks of the words I was about to say.
Right. They knew where you were going with it.
And as I know you can appreciate, as I think so many people listening can appreciate, as a mom, it was really cool to model the behavior that you want to see in your children. Like, I feel like we're in this era of parenting where we talk about how like you can do hard things. Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, of course, we can all do hard things. And I felt really good walking off stage. Like I actually did the hard thing.
You really did it. You actually did it. You weren't just like having lip service on that.
Totally.
You stood up there for 10 minutes.
10 minutes. You're just on a red dot, talking.
Totally vulnerable, out there exposed.
And like, that even though you only own that 10 minutes, like it does live on. Mm-hmm. It was a very emotional day. Ironically, one of my sisters gave birth that day.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. So I got to be an auntie again. I have two younger sisters that are twins. We all live in Atlanta. And so I walked off stage and I went straight to Northside Hospital to meet my nephew. And so it's really cool. I will always like remember his birthday as this like very significant day. And for my dad, it was particularly special. So my mom happened to be doing like a 3-month art tour in London. So she knew she wasn't going to be able to attend, but it was really cool and special for my dad because he was in the audience for me. And then he too went straight to the hospital afterwards. So it was just this very emotional day for our family, different highs at different levels. And it was also very grounding to remind myself, because she knew it was a scheduled C-section, that no matter what happened on that stage, nothing would matter more than what happened to her.
Yeah.
And that was like a really nice way of like anchoring my stress, my anxiety, because it put into context, yes, this is a massive opportunity. Yes, this could be very good for the company. And like nothing replaces like what's most important in life, which is your children and your babies and the opportunity to do those things.
I love it, Jordan. It's so good. It's so good. Congratulations. So I want to speak about support languages. And in the TED Talk, obviously, you break that down. So I want to like break that down and sort of explore that together.
Yeah, let's explore it. So most people are familiar with love languages, right? It's common framework that people are aware of. So when we had, and I say we because I did not do this alone. I want to like give credit to not just my husband, but our CTO. Like everyone was involved in trying to make this a success. And so when I had this idea of support languages, what instantly came to my mind is, how could we help create structure? How could we help create a framework for people to understand their support language, much like they understand their love language? And so what we ended up doing was taking a step back and saying, well, what if we kind of took a page out of Love Language's book and created a quiz where you could go on and you could answer a few questions. And as a result of how you answer a few questions, you could discern what your natural support language is. And so a lot of the effort that was put forth in writing it was also constructing this formula of what made sense for the 8 different support languages that we then curated. So what's unique about support languages, so again, there's 8 of them, but the way that you arrive at your support language is based off of 3 components. One is socialization. So do you prefer to work independently, or do you like to work within a group? The second is activation. So are you the assertive type, like you like to be super proactive, or do you tend to be more of the person that's waiting for direction? We call that person more adaptive. And then the last factor is actions. So do you prefer to do more hands-on things like walking a dog or making a meal? Or are you more relational, like that listening ear? And so through those components, we created multiple questions within each of those categories. And then as a result of that, it spits out one of 8 different support languages. And so that is how we kind of arrived at this. But the real purpose of support languages is less about what your support language is. It's more about bringing to light the importance of understanding that support doesn't look the same for every person. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't look the same for every situation. And that shouldn't prevent you, that shouldn't stop you or discourage you from doing something.
Yes.
Because in the work that I get to do every day through Support Now, the thing I hear the most often from families that are going through cancer or loss or a major diagnosis is the disappointment that they have that so many people do nothing. So while I want people to take their support language, and we have the supportlanguages.com, and you can take the list, and it's great. You should do that. But really what I'm trying to evangelize is this idea that support means more than the way we've been conditioned. And I think it's a very important topic. And I think it's very societally appropriate given all of the things we've been through as humans in the last 5 years. And so it felt, again, the support languages topic, it felt personally aligned, it felt business aligned, but it also felt culturally aligned.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're at the very beginning at really bringing this concept to the forefront, because I genuinely believe we need it more now than ever.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I have so many questions, but I'm going to ask my first question first. Can you explain for the audience a little bit about Support Now and how that is differentiated from other online platforms?
Sure. Of course. So Support Now is a free, all-in-one, customized family support platform. It's a lot of words, and I'll explain it. And I'll give a story before I explain it. The background on Support Now is through COVID, like everybody, I was sitting in my home. I was miserable. I had just given birth to a newborn baby. I had an 18-month-old, no help, no nothing. I was completely isolated. I was miserable. And I realized in those early days of postpartum with my daughter that the importance of a village. I had undervalued what it meant to me to have people come over after my first baby for meals and support and just helping around the house. I undervalued it. And when I didn't have it the second time around, I still say this, like, I don't know that I've ever fully recovered from COVID. And I'm the lucky one because I had it relatively easy. And at that very same time, a lot of people I knew were going through more significant challenges, things like cancer, house fires, sudden loss, car accidents. And I joke with my husband that I noticed that we lived in a culture of cash and casseroles.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time I was working for a B2B tech company, and I realized that the reason why our instinct is to do money or meals has more to do with the tools that we've been provided and less about what we're capable of. And so it made sense to me. GoFundMe has made it normal to give money. Meal Train has made it normal to drop off meals. And those things are great, but they're incomplete. And so the vision of Support Now was, could we create a more inclusive, comprehensive, modern, and compassionate family support platform that allowed you to raise money and keep more of it, that allowed you to organize meals, to allow you to coordinate volunteers and share updates, but to do so in a way that, again, is customizable. And frankly, that felt more like the moms I knew. Because the moms I knew, Tara, looked like you and looked like me. When you hear the news that a teacher just got diagnosed with something, or that your best friend has a baby in the NICU, or that your close friend growing up, mom has an illness, within minutes, not even hours, minutes, moms are on a text chain with their friends saying, did you hear the news? What are we going to do now? And the goal and the vision is to be the place that moms turn, not because dads can't, but because moms do these things. We shoulder this responsibility. And to try to create a platform that felt more like the moms I knew, because the moms I knew cared. They're wildly compassionate. They want to do the right thing, but they also don't have a lot of time. Yeah. So if you're asking us to go to multiple tools and to have to search around a spreadsheet, you're just going to lose people. You're going to lose more support. So in a lot of ways, the tools or the platforms we, quote, compete with, well, they're focused on the family, and we also focus on the family. In some ways, we're most focused on the support system. What are the ways that we can make it easier for the friends and family members that care about someone to activate that compassion all in one place? So that is the long story short. But again, it's free, it's ad free, families keep more money. And while we're early in our journey, we have a lot of early signals that people understand what we're trying to do. And now it's just the biggest challenge we face is just getting the word out.
Yeah, absolutely. Is back to school shopping stressing you out, dreading those long lists and running from store to store hunting for supplies? Yeah, I totally get it. This year, there's a better way. Introducing teacherlists.com, the website that makes back to school shopping a breeze. Teacher Lists takes teachers' back to school supply lists and transforms them into easy to use shoppable lists online. That means no more scrambling to find the right notebooks or mystery markers. Teacher Lists connects with major retailers like Target, Walmart, Amazon, Staples, and many more. So you could shop for everything you need at your favorite store with just a click. No more running from store to store. Teacher Lists ensures that you get the exact items that your child's teacher wants, so your child could be fully prepared and confident on the first day of school. This back to school season, ditch the stress and embrace the ease. Head over to teacherlists.com to order those supplies today. Happy shopping. What is available on the site which may be different? So you sort of alluded to like cash and casseroles, obviously, but is it something like babysitting? Is it dog walking? Yeah. Is it taking in the garbage?
Great question. So in addition to just like bringing everything all together in one place, which is probably like the biggest difference on the surface, the largest feature differential is our lend a hand. And lend a hand, what that does is that allows an organizer, that could be the family themselves, that could be a best friend, a neighbor, a sister, a colleague, to go in and customize a list of things that the family needs. I've seen it used for things like walking a dog. I've seen it for things like picking up children. I've seen it for prayer. I've seen it for cutting the lawn, mowing the lawn. So people use it in all different ways. But what we're trying to capture there is the recognition that the little things oftentimes add up to be the most helpful for families, but they're oftentimes the fastest to be overlooked because it's difficult to coordinate.
Yeah.
It's difficult to know. So everyone's lend a hand looks a little different. Some people don't use it at all, right? Because again, the platform's customizable. But more times than not, I see it for dog walking, childcare, play dates, prayer, writing thoughtful handwritten notes, like people just like rotating, like doing very sentimental things. And it's a really, really beautiful feature because it goes both ways. So the family or the organizer can list what they want, and supporters can proactively offer a hand in categories that they feel they are best suited to do. And what that does is, and this is really critical, what that does is it takes the burden off the family to answer the question, what can I do to help? And so there's a lot of intentionality and psychology baked into what we've created because we know families are receiving a lot of well-intended but overwhelming questions of support. And we also know they're going through decision fatigue. They don't know how to answer those questions. So instead of asking the family, you can go ahead and proactively show that you're willing to do these things. And as a result, what ends up happening is the family becomes more receptive towards those things because they realize what people within their community are capable of.
Mm-hmm. That makes so much sense. I was going to ask if there's ever sort of a mismatch, going back to the support language topic, a mismatch between what the family is looking for and what people are willing to do.
Yeah, I mean, there can be, absolutely. And again, support is not, it's an art, not a science. And so much of what we see is going to be dependent on the community. You know, we have dreams and visions that over time, when people don't have community, that we have a network of volunteers that can just do the thing. Right now, we're focused on how do we activate the community that already exists for a family? And how do we level up both in terms of making people aware that they can do more things than just money and meals? How do we make it easy for them to display that? And then how do we really encourage the family to be receptive to those things? Because so much about what we're on a mission to do isn't just about teaching supporters how to support, but also teaching families that are going through these difficult things that it is okay to be the recipient of support.
Yeah, it's okay to ask for help.
It's okay to ask and it's okay to receive.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's a challenge that we face like as a society. So like support now is not going to solve that. We just choose to approach it differently, where the onus isn't solely on the family to say, this is what I need. We've decided to create like another way of friends and family to say, hey, I know you're saying you want this. And at the same time, I'm willing to do this whenever you want. Because part of, and I felt this as a supporter many times, part of what supporters want is they want to clear their own conscience.
Yeah.
They want to know, well, I tried, I tried. And trying does mean something, because whether you realize it or not, families take a mental snapshot of who's offering, of who's doing things and who doesn't.
Yeah. They're clocking it.
And I talk about this in the TED. So much about what I'm trying to encourage people to do is to avoid that feeling of guilt or shame. So of course, again, you don't have to use support now to do any of this, but that's also why the support language complemented so much of the experiences that we have seen and spoken to across the country, thousands of families that are going through these things.
Yeah. In your talk, you mentioned Julie's story. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah. So so through Support Now, I met this incredible woman. She happens to live in Atlanta. Her Instagram handle is Spilled Milk Mama. Her name is Julie. She's incredible. And I had been familiar with Julie's story because being in Atlanta, I remember when this all happened. So she was 6 weeks postpartum with her second child when her husband got into a fatal car crash. Just poof.
Heartbreaking.
And she was already doing some content creation. And instead of fading, she completely leaned into it. And she became almost like I don't know if she would laugh if I said, like, she became this like grief superstar.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Yeah, I could see that. Absolutely.
Yeah, and again, like I'm not sure it's like a title that
she would want or say
like say, oh, this is I'm gonna, everyone's
I'm
looking
the
for
grief influencer.
Yeah, she just had a way of she showed up completely as herself, completely authentically. And it got a lot of attention, and she gained a large following as a result because she showed everything. And then when we created Support Now, awareness is so big for us. And so I'm trying to build relationships with people that understand what we're building. And of course, in Atlanta, everyone's like, you got to talk to Julie. So I just cold emailed her one day.
Oh, that makes sense.
I just cold emailed her. I tried her in her DMs. I figured it wouldn't be effective because her DMs are busy. And so I just cold emailed her and I said, hey, I actually asked her to be on I have a podcast as well called Moms Like Me, which you've been on. Thank you. Yeah. And I said, I want to tell your story and I want to share with you what we're building. And if you believe in it, I think there's a lot of opportunity to partner and all this and that. And she's become a close friend through this process because she could so directly speak to the value proposition that we created, even though she was not the recipient of a Support Now. We didn't exist at the time. Mm-hmm. And so then when I was writing Support Languages, I had this idea of incorporating her story because she was such a guiding light and continues to be such a guiding light for us because we want to build features that matter. We want to build a company that actually helps people and does things the right way. And so I started writing, and I remember talking to my husband being like, I hope she's okay with this. Like, we're going to need her approval. And I called her and I just said, I'm so inspired by you. You know that. And I would be honored if you would allow me to share part of your story as the opening in my talk. And I wasn't surprised, but I was nervous, but I wasn't surprised that she said yes. And so there were only 3 people in the audience that day for the talk. It was my dad, my husband, and Julie.
That's amazing.
And we cried.
How could you not?
Yeah, it was so emotional. I mean, honestly, I'm getting emotional even thinking back, and I'm not a crier. It was so cool because I've admired Julie and her story for so long. And to walk off that stage and to know that I did right by her, like, again, I'm getting so it
gave me chills even during, as soon as you mentioned her name in the talk, it gave me chills.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not following her, you should, because she's funny. She's relatable. She's great. I mean, she's lovely. She reminds me of you. Like, she's so great. She's so great.
She's lovely.
I'm Jewish, and in Judaism, we talk about like mitzvot, like doing good deeds. And there was something powerful about walking off that stage, feeling like I had done like the ultimate mitzvah. I had done something really good, because certainly I did. I don't want to misconstrue my words. So, I did this. I pursued this because I saw opportunity for myself. And I would love to think that one day her children, as they get older, will have that talk as a guiding light about their mom.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. They're going to grow up, and I'm sure they're going to be so proud of her and everything that she's been able to share with the world and to get out there in the conversation of grief.
Yeah. I mean, again, you follow her, you understand it's not that other creators haven't experienced grief. There's a lot of them. Yeah. And sometimes, stars align. She happened to live in Atlanta. She happened to respond to my, she's not the only person I've reached out to. It's not everyone.
I actually didn't realize that she was from Atlanta until you said that. Yeah, I don't know where I thought she was from, but I just didn't realize it was Atlanta.
Yeah, we don't live far, and she has a very happy ending. and so I won't even tell you all the things that I think that she deserves the follow, and she deserves people to that's my influencer ism coming out. Like, go follow her, and you can find out where she is in life.
Yes.
Yeah, go listen to my talk, and you can, but that's
plug.
the hook. That's the hook.
That's the hook. I love that. I love that so much. But I had to mention that, or her, I should say, in this particular conversation, because although you talked about it on the TED Talk, and I do want everyone to go watch your TED Talk because it's phenomenal. I knew that we needed to shed a light on Julie and her story.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You're actually the first person that brought up Julie directly, and I really appreciate that. And again, so much about no disrespect to some other talks I've listened to. A lot of times when people give talks, whether TED or otherwise, it's very grand. It's very big, and that's the purpose, right? You want to be speaking to the masses. One of the things we were really committed to doing was to make this feel like you know this person. So you may not know Julie, but you know someone in your world that has experienced something like this, because you're trying to like center yourself around something that feels really familiar. And that can be uncomfortable.
I actually thought it's interesting that you say that, because in a talk like yours, or any TED Talk, like you said, like you start with very lofty concepts. And the second that you brought it down to Julie, it made it feel so much more personal.
That's right.
So there's something so personal about storytelling. That's
right. That's right. And this is why it takes forever to write these things, because and also like you have to take a step back. I know all the players. I know what we're trying to do. But to someone who's never heard of this concept of her, of all the things we're trying to do, you just have to make sure that that people can comprehend it, that people process it. And for me, it wasn't even processing it. It was, how do we inspire? How do we make this more actionable for people? To, the TED Talk often talks about like turning ideas into action. And so we really tried to focus on that tenet in the writing process.
Yeah, no, and it showed. I can definitely say, as someone who watched the video,
thank you.
It definitely showed. I have so many thoughts about this and about help. And, it's interesting. We have, I say we, because my husband and I went to high school together. We have a friend of ours from high school. He was actually our valedictorian, wicked smart kid named Chris, who recently caught an infection that almost killed him, but actually took both his arms and both his legs.
Oh, did he go septic?
Septic, yeah. He like caught an infection and then it went septic and then he almost died. But then they were like, the only way we could save you is if we take your arms and legs. And so he has now lost his arms and legs, and he's our age and really sweet. Nicest kid, super smart. He has a wife and 2 children. And we found out about it through Facebook because someone had a GoFundMe, and we obviously donated to that. But my thought is like, I'm sure now, this is a few months later, that they need so much more support and so much more help, that support now could really help them in their day to day. And of course, the money's good. And they, believe it or not, were able to raise $350,000.
Oh, I believe it. I mean,
that was the last time I checked. It could even be more from Stan.
I believe it. Again, money, and I don't want to put down money. Again, we encourage fundraising on our platform as well. Money is important. Money is often critical, and it just doesn't solve everything. And I think sometimes what happens, I see this so frequently. People see, oh, they raised a ton of money, I think they're good. We just breeze past thinking through, like, what's their day-to-day look like?
Who's going to pick the kids up from school now? Right. Who's going to drop off? All of those things.
Like, that's part of what we're trying to change. Is like, no. You should raise as much money as you need. But let's not also forget that it is simply incomplete to think that that's all that a family needs. And so it's prompting and re-encouraging people to stay on for that journey, to think differently about ways that you can support, because so often, and again, sometimes it's appropriate to do this, sometimes it's not. So often people donate and that's it. Like, they're done. And one of the things I've learned the most through this journey is that culturally, what tends to happen, particularly with loss, but even situations like this, is there tends to be a very fast wave of support that lasts about 3 weeks. And then people fade. And one of the things we are committed to is extending that timeline of support. And part of how we do that is allowing people to think about support differently. Part of how we do that is update. So that the family can say, we're making progress in this direction, or we're back in the hospital, because people can't help if they don't know.
Yeah.
So again, it's like, it goes all these ways. Interestingly, Tara, we have a cousin who had a very similar situation. I mean, she's one of the most inspiring people I know. And she was one of the guiding lights for building this company, because we saw that same thing. Ton of money raised. It's like, okay, well, who's going to drive their 2 kids to school? With one caregiver that can walk and drive. Now she has prosthetics, and she's like incredible.
It's incredible.
But like, those are the very real challenges they face. For them, also why I encourage money is money can help. Money is easy for people that don't live locally. Right. You live in New Jersey. If something, God forbid, happened to you, I can't walk your dog. I will absolutely send you money. I will send you a meal. I will do all of those things. So it's one of the ways that you galvanize the masses. But for the people, especially that live locally, that's where you have to remind them. Hey, think about like what it's like for them to wake up every day. What are those things that I can solve for them?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I think the platform is so phenomenal. I'm so glad we had the opportunity to talk about it. I'm about to ask you a question that I ask all of my guests, and I'm super curious to see what you're going to say. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
What do you think is the biggest modern mom problem today?
Just one?
No, I got time. You go ahead. You go for it.
Oh, man. The biggest modern mom problem, I'm going to tie it back to, I don't think this will surprise them. We don't ask for help. We have grown up. I think momming today is harder, not because of any other thing other than the fact that we physically live differently than we've ever lived. Social media has put up these unimaginable bars of what acceptable and good looks like. And as a result, we create a pressure to do all of the things well, all of the time, and look good doing it. And I actually talked about this not long on our Instagram. I'm trying to channel my inner Tara on Instagram these days. I think I'm probably taking this question too far, but I'm just going to say this.
No, go for it. Run.
It is so detrimental to moms not to ask for help, not just for us. Like, yeah, it creates isolation. It creates depression. It creates unnecessary pressure, all the things. It is so dangerous for our children. We are supposed to model the behaviors we want to see in our children. When our kids don't see someone drop off meals or help around the house or do certain things to help us out, how could we possibly expect them to ask for help when they need it?
Yeah.
We are so busy trying to prove to everyone, oh, look at what I am capable of doing. And I think we are completely forgetting that our children are watching us burned the F out.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is the biggest modern mom problem.
I agree. I think that encapsulates a lot of different things so well amalgamated into the one concept. So
Good.
thanks. Yeah,
Good.
it'd be better if I said it properly the first time. But no.
Great.
No, thanks. No, I do. I agree with you on that one very, very much. When my son was born, this was, forever ago. No, but 12 and a half years ago, we had no help at all. We lived in New York City at the time, and I'm totally going off on a tangent, but trust me, it relates to the topic. So we were living in New York City. We're from New Jersey originally. We had no help. It was just my husband and I. He had 1 day off for paternity leave. And then the following week, I think he had a week off of vacation. So he used his vacation for paternity leave. We had no one come and help us. Our mothers came for 1 day, which allowed me to go take a shower, which was awesome. It was like the best shower I've ever had. And then when I got out of the shower, they were like, we're going to go get our eyebrows done. And I was like, okay. They went for 2 freaking hours. I didn't even know where they were. I was about to put the baby in a stroller and then go downstairs and find them. And just as I was about to do that, then they show up and I was like, where were you guys? They're like, well, we went to Starbucks and then we walked around and then we went shopping and then we got our eyebrows done. I was like, what the freaking hell? And, so that, and then 2 minutes later, then my father-in-law came to pick them up and drove them all home. And that was it. That was the extent to which I had help with my newborn son.
Yeah. Brutal. I mean, it's so funny. You hit on something that I have this funny cutesy phrase. I always say, what are you guaranteed when you have a baby?
A baby.
A onesie and unsolicited advice. Guaranteed.
That's it. Oh, you got it. That
guaranteed.
Was it.
and I, again, support now. We tend to talk about support now from a cancer, a loss, a major accident, but we have so many families that use us just for postpartum babies, and it makes me so happy. My huge dream, my big dream is that we also kind of reimagine how we support moms postpartum, because what we need are people to come over to our house and tidy up so we can take a shower or so we can take a nap, or so that they hold the baby so that you can do those things, because that's actually what you want to do.
I would have loved to have gotten my eyebrows done and gone to Starbucks and went shopping.
Of course you would have. But this is, and again, it goes both ways. Part of the challenge is as supporters, we don't offer those things. The other very real challenge is, as moms, we're so quick to push it away.
Right.
And I do believe that technology can help bridge that. It just can. I dream of the world where, at a baby shower, second semester, third trimester baby shower, you're getting gifts, but people are also signing up for time slots to drop by every few, once a week to say, hey, this is your 3 to 6 friends that this is just your go-to squad for a week or 2.
Oh my God, Jordan, that's it. That's the thing. I wrote a meme many, many years ago that said, be the friend you wish you had when you had newborns. And that is exactly what you're referring to.
Yeah,
I love that
you cannot
idea.
convince me that that's not possible. But it is moms are brushing up against some really difficult headwinds.
Yeah.
And again, I want to go back to something I said earlier, because I think this is really important. As moms, we were not designed as humans to do and to parent and to mom the way we currently mom.
Agreed.
As humans, we were born into civilizations, into huts and villages where you literally raised your babies
all together
in the house or right along. So, and I think that people forget that by nature, we are tribal beings. And what we've done is, and again, none of this is bad. It's just what's happened. And I just think it's important.
It's where we are now.
Yeah, it's just where we are now. Where do I live? I live in the burbs. I live in a cul-de-sac. I can see a whole bunch of houses, but my kids aren't running down the street, knocking on random neighbors' doors. And no, of course not. That's not the life that we live anymore. My parents did that. And my parents, they lived in, an apartment together with 2 other families because they were poor. Again, we've evolved. And then again, you add in the social media factor, and everyone is projecting the best version of themselves.
Yep.
It's so dangerous. everyone does it.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. By the way, you are rewarded for showing that stuff.
That's the challenging thing.
Like,
yeah.
Julie, I was talking to a creator the other day, and she said, she's like a micro influencer. She's got about 10,000 followers. She showed up one week with makeup, all dolled up, whatever. And then the next week she did the exact same content, no makeup, whatever. Guess what got the most engagement?
When she's all made up.
Yep.
Yeah. Because you know why? It doesn't get pushed. The algorithm doesn't push it out when you don't have any makeup on.
It's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy.
It's bananas.
That's crazy. And like, as a mom in my 30s, and like I think moms in their 30s and 40s that are living on Instagram, maybe to a lesser degree TikTok, but certainly Instagram, that there's just such danger in that.
Yeah,
such danger in that.
No,
so I'm sorry to hear about your experience, and I think that
it's funny now.
12 years ago, it's different, but some things have just not gotten better. And
no,
it can and it should. It can and it should.
It should. And I love the idea about the baby registry. I think that is as important, if not more important, than burp cloths and new bottles.
I one last thing, and then I'll get off my not my high horse, but just like my rage.
Soapbox. Yeah.
My soapbox. That was the phrase I was looking for.
Yeah.
It just always makes me laugh how when babies are born, it's all about the baby. And I get it to a degree. To your point about being the friend that you didn't have, I just always remember the ones that like really checked in with me, or that brought, like, my favorite new thing that I do is when the baby's born, I'll bring a gift for the baby, but I'll bring like some skincare for the mom.
Yes, that's awesome.
Like under eye patches, like things that like just like, you just make sure like you feel good, because if you don't feel good, this whole thing is really hard already, but it's going to get harder if you don't feel good about yourself.
1,000%. Yes. That's my new thing. Also, not even with gifts, but asking the mom how she's feeling first. Say, congratulations on the baby. And how are you feeling?
Yes. Well, I remember I had a postpartum doula. Not a doula like at the hospital, but a postpartum doula after my first baby. And she also told me, this is very interesting, that a women's or mom's hormones spike on like day 4 after a baby.
That makes sense.
And so whenever any of my friends have babies, I write down 4 days after. All I say is, if it's feeling hard, I promise it gets better.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't want to ask a question that they can't answer type of thing. Like,
sure.
Of course, how are you doing today? So it's totally palatable. Yeah. But just more of like, just in case it was a hard night, just in case you're feeling that, what the fuck just happened to me moment.
Yeah. Like, I feel like I got hit by a truck and I'm sweating through my pajamas.
Where you're like, what is happening?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just that reminder that it gets better, because again, we also live in a culture of moms that are saying, you just wait. And they mean it as a negative, trying to make that a positive.
Yeah.
It gets so much better.
Yeah. No, just hang in there. Just wait it out. You'll sleep again. You'll be able to eat a meal in silence again. It happens, just not immediately.
Slow.
Yeah, slow. Jordan, I adore you so much. Tell everyone where we could find out more about Support Now.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. And I adore you back. I'm so glad that you've restarted up the podcast, all the things. You're such a great voice for moms, an important voice for moms. So a couple places. One, you can follow us on Instagram at supportnow_org. I'm stepping into my creator influencer era here, trying to shine a light, not just on Support Now, but really just more supporter tips for all types of major life moments, whether that's loss, cancer, natural disasters, all the things. Of course, if someone knows someone, or you are the person going through the major life moment, go to our website, supportnow.org. Again, it's completely free. It's ad-free. Families keep more of the money. It's customizable. Our team is amazing. We do phone support, text support, email support, Zoom support. I mean, literally, like, we genuinely care about making the lives easier for the people that are using us. And then lastly, take a look at the talk. The TED Talk is live. You can search it on Google. Just look for support languages. It will pop up. And then in the YouTube link, you'll see a link to take the quiz, the supportlanguages.com quiz. So lots of calls to action, but more so, my biggest ask for anyone that says, I love this, I want to help you, is great, refer us when it's necessary. In the PTO, PTA meetings, when something happens, in your Facebook groups and your text chains, these things are happening all around us. And we just want to earn the trust of moms across this country.
I love it. I love it. Jordan, thank you so much for shedding a light on this. Thanks for being here today.
I enjoyed it so much.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of Modern Mom Probs. I hope you enjoyed our deep dive in today's problem with me, your host, Tara Clark. Join me next time when I'll be interviewing another great guest and tackling another modern mom problem. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review and a rating. As always, you could head over to Modern Mom Probs on Instagram and give me a follow, or check out my book, Modern Mom Probs, A Survival Guide for 21st Century Mothers, available online wherever books are sold. Well, that's it for today. See you next time, folks.